The only 999 years leasehold slash freehold CCR new launch of 2025. Let's talk about it. So today we'll be talking about the Robertson Opus, and we'll be covering a little bit about the unit mix, as well as the developer, as well as the layout. So before we get started, do give me a like and share so that this video can reach out to more people. So the Robertson Opus, in short TRO, is actually jointly developed by Secretary House as well as Fraser's Property. So both are very established developers, and this is actually their 9th time joining together to develop a development here. For Fraser's Properties, right, they have actually developed more than 23,000 homes in the last 40 years, and for Secretary House, they have done 2.6 million homes globally over the last 65 years. So just some key information about TRO, alright. So this is a mixed development, comes with 348 units, 4 tower of 10 story, 1 tower of 9 story, so 26 F&B plus retail shops, and including a grocer too. Okay, so for residential, we have 278 car park lots plus 2 accessible lots at basement 2 and basement 3. So on the commercial side, right, it comes with 34 car park lots plus 1 accessible lot at basement 1, and this project is expected to TOP in Q4 of 2028. So in TRO, right, so this is the unit mix. So we have suite all the way up to 4-bedroom premium. Majority of the units here, 34% of the unit mix here in TRO, right, are 2-bedroom units. So I'm going to pick out the 2-bedroom layout that I like the most, because if I were to go through all the floor plans, this entire video would be too lengthy. But of course, if let's say today you want more information, do hit me up and I'll send you the entire floor plan as well as the e-brochure. So let's go straight into the layout that I prefer. So for this particular layout that I really love, alright, it's actually type B1, okay, 67 square meters, 721 square feet, very decent 2-bed 2-bath size. Why do I really like it? Is because development that has 2-bedroom on the corner stack. So for this, if let's say we were to look at the layout, you can see, right, actually the moment you step in, on your left hand side, there is already an enclosed kitchen for people who prefers to do more cooking at home. And not only just that, the kitchen also comes with a window, which means that there will be natural ventilation coming into your kitchen as well. And with a window there in the kitchen, you do not have to turn on the light in the daytime. The 2 bathroom, which is the master bath as well as the common bath, also comes with natural ventilation as well, which is also what people generally like. Alright, just to highlight, right, for all the 2-bedroom units actually fall under the Premier Collection. In TRO, actually there is 3 different types of collection. Firstly, which is the Premier Collection, which is your suite all the way up to your 2 bedrooms. Or the smaller 3-bedroom unit is actually under the Luxury Collection. And for your bigger 3-bedroom as well as 4-bedroom, it falls under the Legacy Collection. And of course, you would ask me what would be the difference between all this collection is in terms of the appliances, in terms of the fittings and the carpentries that's actually being used. Alright, so let's get down to the most important thing to me. For TRO, right, we are actually looking to buy into 3 things. Okay, firstly, which is buy safe. Secondly, buy protection. And lastly, buy all in. So when we talk about buying safe, right, what is it we are talking about? Firstly is to talk about the CCR gap between CCR as well as RCR. Secondly, we'll be talking about the 99 years slash freehold price gap against the 99 years leasehold projects. And lastly, which is our freehold slash 999 performance in the long run. So if we can look at this chart, right, okay, this is the price gap between CCR versus RCR. And as of right now, in 2025, right, the price gap between these 2 regions, right, is actually at 4.6%. So you can see, right, previously back in 2013, 2016, 2019 period, it was about 67%, 38%, 58%. And in 2021, it's actually at 37%. In this year alone, the price gap is at just a mere 4.6% price gap. And what happens when the price gap is narrow? So these are some of the research that we have already done. So back in year 1999, when the price gap between CCR and RCR is at 15.66%, if let's say today given a choice, right, if the price gap is at this 15%, right, which one would you go for? From the performance here, we can see that for CCR, the growth is 93.6% over RCR, 35.11%. So which means that the CCR performance significantly outperformed RCR price growth during the area. So in year 2000, the price gap between CCR and RCR is at 4.3%. Okay, so of course, the difference in terms of the CCR growth versus the RCR growth is at 34.11% over a negative 15.2%. Okay, moving on to year 2009, price gap between CCR and RCR is at 16.02%, and the CCR growth is at 80.79%, and RCR growth is at 62.49%. And in more recent times, right, in year 2013, alright, the price gap between CCR and RCR at 0.71%, and the price growth for CCR is 33.91%, and for RCR we see a negative 9.15%. Alright, so moving on to the second part of buying safe, which is our freehold / 999 versus the 99 years price gap. So today we can talk about the region, and secondly now we need to talk about in terms of the tenure of the property. So what happens when the gap remains narrow? Back in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, actually for the past close to 10 years, right, the price gap has always been hovering around 20% price gap. In recent years, the gap has been narrowing already. In 2024, it's at 7.81%, and this year right now is 0.2%. So the question here is, right, will the price gap between 999 years / freehold and 99 years leasehold property, will it always remain this narrow or not? Do we actually see a window of opportunity in the market right now? To the last part of buying in safe, right, I need to understand how's the performance of freehold / 999 years in the long run. There's this project performance comparison within the area of Robertson Opus. As you can see, there is Mirage Tower, River Place, Robertson 100, alright? So these three projects. So over the course of the years from 1997 until this year, 2025, you can see that actually for the 99 years River Place, right, the performance is only growing by 51%. Whereas compared to the freehold projects like Mirage Tower as well as Robertson 100, right, which is almost 2 or 3 times more compared to River Place. So to put things into perspective, alright, so if at that point of time you only bought it for 1 million back then, in today's context, right, for that 1 million today, if you own River Place, the value of the property will be about 1.5 million. For Mirage Towers, it will be about 2.1 million, and for Robertson 100, it will be 2.6 million, right? Which one would you wish you have owned? Moving on, we'll talk about buying in protection. So what do protection actually means, right, is that we use the comparison with the nearby resale properties. First of all, today, if let's say today you can buy a brand new mixed development 999 years project cheaper than your neighbors, how does that sound? We look at this transaction that has already been reflected here. Just want to apologize in advance, right, for the 2-bedroom and the 4-bedroom header is actually opposite. So what do we mean by buying in 300 to 800,000 cheaper than surrounding? It's because if let's say today we just look at the 1-bedder, which is just opposite the Robertson Opus, which is at UE Square, right, you can see today the average price or quantum is about 1.85 or 1.86 million already. And if we talk about the 3-bedroom unit at Rivergate right now, it has already done the average quantum for about 4.34 million. Alright, so if we look at the 2-bedroom unit, okay, at Rivergate, they have already accepted as a resale project, price quantum of about 3.028 million. And if we look at the 4-bedroom at Rivergate, the price quantum that has already been accepted is at 5.967 million. So that means, right, today you are actually buying in at 3 to 800,000 cheaper than your neighbors, which have already been accepted in the vicinity. But of course, not all CCR are the same. I believe for many buyers who are looking at CCR, they also feel that, hey, CCR last time also always lose money. So there is two comparison here for you guys to actually take a look at. Martin Modern, the profitable transaction has actually hit about 60 units, and it's actually launched in 2017. And the profits that they make for the owners there actually ranges from 355,000 all the way up to 1.14 million. Okay, and even at Avenir, right, which just TOP last year, freehold project, made 5 profitable transactions, and the profits actually ranges from 350,000 all the way up to $1 million. Alright, so last but not least, buy all in. Alright, so what I'm going to talk about for buying all in is about its location, the amenities, and what is it in for buyers who are looking to buy the Robertson Opus. Alright, in terms of location-wise, the Robertson Opus is actually centrally located in CCR District 9 and is at the heart of Robertson Quay. So it's actually in between the CBD, Orchard, as well as the Marina Bay area, and it's actually surrounded by world-class riverside lifestyle. And in terms of proximity to the MRT station, the nearest MRT station would be Fort Canning MRT, and it's just a mere 3 minutes walk, and it's also within 1 kilometer to River Valley Primary School. So the Robertson Opus is also a short 5 minutes walk away from Fort Canning Park, where you can have your evening strolls, and also you can also walk along the Singapore River, you know, enjoying the riverside living. So of course we talk about the location and its proximity to MRT station. So I'm going to share a little bit in terms of what would be the MRT advantage, which means that, you know, if today you own a property within 500-meter radius to MRT station, it actually performs better than when you're not near to MRT. As you can see from here, the growth is about 261.2% over 245.15% across all districts here in Singapore. At the same time, of course, if let's say today we are going for rental play, and I believe all tenants also prefer to stay near to an MRT station. So that's the reason why the performance for the rental compared to not too near to MRT station is 189.06 over 184.24%. If we talk about being near to school, and of course there will also be school advantage if let's say today you are within 1 kilometers to primary school. Okay, as you can see from this chart here, it's 48.83% if you are near 1 kilometer to primary school versus if you are not near to a primary school at 45.88%. Being a mixed development, TRO also has commercial shops on its first floor, and what are the advantage that this can actually give you is of course in terms of the performance of the property as well. As you can see from the chart here, 209.89% over 196.37% if you are not an integrated development. So I believe there is a lot of information to actually share, and I can't cover it all in this video. And if you're very confused with whatever I've shared, right, do reach out to me. I'll be happy to share with you more in depth in terms of what the Robertson Opus can actually offers you in terms of lifestyle, investment, as well as your own stay needs. Alright, so just to take note, the preview actually starts on 5th of July. So if you are keen to come down and take a look at the show flat, do let me know and I'll be happy to assist you. So again, if you like what you are seeing, do give me a like, share and subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you'll be more informed about the videos that I'm posting up soon. Cheers and see you soon.